Hello and welcome. You're watching News9 Live, and that's the topic we are discussing, the biggest story of the day, the Sena versus Sena verdict. We shall look at every aspect, and even as we are waiting for the so-called verdict, for lack of any other word, we shall be discussing the political implications of this biggest story of the day. Let's start the story of the hour. It's a big day. As I said, in Maharashtra, Assembly Speaker Rahul Narwekar is all set to deliver his verdict regarding cross-petitions filed by warring factions within the Shiv Sena. The petitions seek the disqualification of each other's MLA, a contentious issue stemming from a significant split within the party. The outcome of this ruling is poised to shape the future trajectory of the Eknath Shinde government and influence the dynamics between the various factions vying for control. The Speaker says the verdict will be as per the Constitution.
मैटर ऑर्डर्स के लिए रिजर्व किया गया है। इस मैटर के ऊपर आज निर्णय दिया जाएगा। ये निर्णय संपूर्ण रूप से कानून में जो प्राविधान है, संविधान में जो प्राविधान है और सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने जो प्रिंसिपल सेट किए हैं उसके आधार पर ही ये निर्णय लिया जाएगा। 10th शेड्यूल में जो प्रोविजंस है जिनका इंटरप्रिटेशन आज तक कुछ प्रोविजंस का हुआ नहीं है, कोई ऐसे विशेष घटनाएं हुई है जिसका इंटरप्रिटेशन अभी तक किसी केस में हुआ नहीं है, वैसे इंटरप्रिटेशन इस केस में करने की ज़रूरत थी और इस केस में उस प्रकार से उचित सभी कानून के प्राविधानों का विचार करके उचित निर्णय लिया जाने वाला है, जो निश्चित रूप से एक उदाहरणात्मक निर्णय इस राष्ट्र के लिए 10th शेड्यूल के मामले में रहेगा।
4 बजे के बाद मैं अधिकृत बात करूंगा, लेकिन मैं इतना ही कहूंगा कि हमारे पास मेजॉरिटी है। विधानसभा में 67%, लोकसभा में 75%, हमारे पास 13 सांसद है और हमारे पास 50 विधायक है और इसी के बलबूते पर मेजॉरिटी पर चुनाव आयोग ने हमें ओरिजिनल पार्टी शिवसेना पार्टी करके रिकॉग्नाइज किया है। धनुष्यबाण है जो सिंबल, वो हमें रिकॉग्नाइज किया है, वो दिया हुआ है और इसलिए मैं चाहता हूं कि स्पीकर महोदय जी भी मेरिट पर हमारे को निकाल देंगे। जो रिजल्ट होगा वो मेरिट पे होना चाहिए और मेरिट पे हम लोग शिवसेना है, हम लोग सिंबल धनुष्यबाण है और हमारे जो शपथ विधि हुआ था, कुछ लोग हमें घटना बाह्य कहते हैं, घटना बाह्य सरकार कहते हैं और बोले आज गिरेगा, कल गिरेगा, परसों गिरेगा, ऐसे बोलते बोलते अभी 1.5 साल हो गए हैं। अभी बाद में कहते हैं मुख्यमंत्री बदलेगा, लेकिन ये सरकार हमारे मजबूती से काम कर रही है, इसलिए उनके पैरों तले जमीन खिसक गई है, वो बेचैन हो गए हैं और अभी उनको सामने दिख रहा है उनकी हार, इसलिए ये गलत सलत आरोप लगाते हैं।
The opposition Shiv Sena UBT led by Uddhav Thackeray has already called it a fixed match and submitted an affidavit to the Supreme Court registering objections to recent meeting between Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and the Assembly Speaker Rahul Narwekar.
जब से ये क्रिकेट में गैम्बलिंग, जुगार और जुगाड़ शुरू हुआ है, तब से मैच फिक्सिंग ये शब्द हमें बार बार कान पे आता है। अरे भाई मैच फिक्सिंग है, ये मैच फिक्सिंग है, ये मैच फिक्सिंग है। इस प्रकार की मैच फिक्सिंग महाराष्ट्र में होने जा रही है आज 4 बजे। मैं इसलिए कहता हूँ, विधानसभा का जो हमारा स्पीकर या अध्यक्ष है मिस्टर नार्वेकर, उन्हें सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने ट्राइब्यूनल का दर्जा दिया है कि आप निर्णय लीजिए, आप न्याय कीजिए इस बारे में, डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन के बारे में। और हमारा जो कहना है कि इस राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री गैर कानूनी तरीके से सत्ता पर बैठे हैं, वो हमारे हिसाब से एक अपराधी है, आरोपी है। अगर न्यायमूर्ति, न्यायालय, ट्राइब्यूनल जाकर बंद कमरे में मुख्यमंत्री यानी आरोपी के घर में जाकर 2 घंटा बैठता है बार बार, तो आप क्या समझोगे? और आज फैसला है, तो क्या आप आरोपी को आपका फैसला दिखाने के लिए गए थे कि मैं यह ऑर्डर देने जा रहा हूं? ये बात हमने सुप्रीम कोर्ट के रिकॉर्ड पर हमने ले ली है, रिकॉर्ड पर लाया है हमने। आज फैसला है और देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी 12 तारीख को महाराष्ट्र में उनका एक दौरा है, उनका टूर है, वो करने जा रहे हैं। रोड शो वगैरह नासिक में है। उसका मतलब क्या है? अगर आपको पता है कि आज फैसला आने वाला है और संविधान कहता है ये सरकार गैरकानूनी है, अगर संविधान के हिसाब से फैसला हो तो ये सरकार गैरकानूनी हो सकती है और सरकार बर्खास्त हो सकती है, फिर भी प्रधानमंत्री महाराष्ट्र में आज आ रहे हैं 2 दिन के बाद, उसका मतलब है प्रधानमंत्री को फैसले के बारे में जानकारी है और मैच फिक्सिंग के बारे में जानकारी है। इसलिए वो आत्मविश्वास है कि मैं आ रहा हूँ और सरकार रहेगी, निर्णय मुझे मालूम है। दूसरी बात, आज फैसला है गैरकानूनी सरकार का और हमारे जो मुख्यमंत्री महोदय है वो दावोस में जा रहे हैं। अगर आपकी सरकार, हम मानते हैं कि गैरकानूनी ठहर सकती है, असंवैधानिक करार दी सकती है, तो आप में इतना आत्मविश्वास कहाँ आया कि फैसला कुछ भी हो, मैं बतौर राज्य का मुख्यमंत्री दावोस एक डेलीगेशन के साथ जा रहा हूँ। उसका मतलब आपको भी मैच फिक्सिंग के बारे में पूरी जानकारी है और आपको निर्णय पहले से मालूम है।
For a complete perspective, as it were, the Speaker has to decide on the following points on your screens right now. The Shiv Sena constitution was amended. Uddhav was selected party president in the January of 2017 for 5 years. His re-election did not take place in January of 2022. The Supreme Court has said that the party president has a right to appoint a whip, not the legislative party leader. If the Speaker rules that Shinde was the Shiv Sena president, then his whip will be termed as valid. Both the factions of Shiv Sena have been saying that there is no split in the party. Alternatively, the Speaker may seek more clarity from the SC on several causes of anti-defection law. The Shiv Sena had suffered a split in June 2022 when Shinde and several MLAs rebelled against the then Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray. The subsequent fall of the Maha-Vikas Aghadi government comprising the Shiv Sena, the NCP and the Congress marked a significant shift in the state's political landscape. Cross-petitions were filed by the Shinde and Thackeray factions seeking action against each other under the anti-defection laws, leading to the present legal and political standoff. The ruling by Rahul Narwekar may influence the stability of the current government, impact the ongoing power struggle within the Shiv Sena and set the stage for the upcoming assembly polls in Maharashtra scheduled for the second half of 2024. I'm going to now introduce you to the guests, the experts who've joined us, but first up in the studio, my colleagues, Ashok Bagdia, who will highlight and weigh in on the legal aspects of it mainly, but also of course on the political aspect, and for an entire political perspective, my colleague Brijesh Pandey in the studio with me, and joining us on the show is Jayant Menkar, senior journalist, who's joining us from Mumbai, and Rennie Abraham, senior journalist, also joining us from Mumbai, and my colleague Kiran Tare as well. A very warm welcome to all of you and to my colleagues, of course. Ashok, more than a political brouhaha as it were, or a whirlpool, do you think that this particular case has a lot of legalese attached to it?
Well, as far as this particular case is concerned, there are a lot of legal complications. Now, because of the unique facts and circumstances that this particular case is throwing up. Number one, we have a situation here where there is a political party where a faction of the party moves away, claims they are the real party, whereas the other faction who happens to be headed, the other faction which happens to be headed by a person who is the nephew of the founder of the party, claims that that is the original party, number one. Number two is that when this split happened and subsequently the government was formed under the leadership of Eknath Shinde, who claimed that he was the original Shiv Sena, because majority of the Shiv Sena elected MLAs in 2019 were with him.
Right.
Third thing, when this matter went to the Election Commission of India, as far as the symbol is concerned, the symbol of bow and arrow, which people recognize as the symbol of the Shiv Sena party, which is the original Shiv Sena party, the Election Commission of India decided in favor of the Eknath Shinde faction.
True.
Saying that you will have this symbol, and in the meantime gave an alternative symbol to the Uddhav Thackeray faction.
Was it a torch, Brijesh? A lit torch, I think, for a flame. Right. Okay.
The fourth thing was, there was a question which arose that when this split happened and disqualification petitions were filed before the Speaker of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly, there was another legal question which arose, that when this matter was referred, disqualification petitions were referred to the Speaker himself was facing a motion for his removal.
Okay.
So the question arose that when the adjudicating authority himself is facing a motion for his removal, is he rightly placed to adjudicate on the disqualification petitions?
Right.
The sixth thing was that both these factions, the Uddhav Thackeray faction and the Eknath Shinde faction, both came to the Supreme Court saying that these people have moved away from the political party. They have defied the whip as to which way they should have voted on the floor of the House. So they have incurred disqualification under the 10th schedule, and the Supreme Court should intervene and disqualify them. But on 10th May, these petitions were actually filed sometime in July 2022, when this whole political drama was playing out in Maharashtra. They filed petitions in 2022, July 2022. Finally, the Supreme Court adjudicated on the issue on 10th May 2023.
Right.
Saying that, look, as far as these disqualification petitions are concerned, we are not going to adjudicate it. We are not the adjudicating authority.
It should be done by the...
It should be done by the Speaker. We are not the court of the first instance. On the first instance, it should be done by the Speaker.
Right.
So, they sent the matter back to the Speaker. But at the same time, the Supreme Court came down on the role of the governor in inviting Eknath Shinde to form the government. The court came to a conclusion that there was not sufficient material before the governor of Maharashtra
Maybe he acted in
to
haste.
call for a floor test.
Right. Okay.
But then at the same time, Uddhav Thackeray too got the chills, the nerves, and he resigned as the chief minister. So the Supreme Court said, we can't turn back the hands of the clock for you because you resigned on your own will. Had you not resigned, we could have restored you as the chief minister, but you have resigned, and that is where the matters rest. Now, between May 2023 and today, January 10, 2024, this has been a period of almost 6 months. The Supreme Court had initially told the Speaker that you please decide these disqualification applications as soon as possible.
Right.
But the Speaker kept lingering on.
All right. And you hold the thought there, Ashok. I have to take a break now. And also to my guests, Jayant Menkar and Rennie Abraham, thank you so much for your patience. I'm coming back in a moment. Please stay with us.
Ram's Ayodhya rebuilt. Ram Lala's Pran Pratishtha. Countdown to January 22nd. Dateline Ayodhya. Catch the mega coverage only on News9 Live.
Welcome back. We are discussing the big day in Maharashtra politics, Sena versus Sena. Jayant Menkar, thank you for your patience that you waited. Jayant, I want to ask you this, that would you agree that today could be a watershed moment in the politics of Maharashtra? Big day, can change things for the impending assembly as well as Lok Sabha elections. Jayant Menkar.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm expecting the way we have seen 1.5 years from 30th June till the date. You know, we were told that anything can happen, this will happen definitely, this time it is going to happen and all that things. Even the Supreme Court judgment which said these are the mistakes, but ultimately came out with one sentence that as Mr. Uddhav Thackeray has resigned, so Mr. Eknath Shinde, you continue as the Chief Minister. If all the mistakes are done, how the answer could be right? I mean, I fail to understand one thing. If the process is wrong, how the answer could be right?
Agree with Jen completely.
The point is this is my question. If the process is wrong, which has been stated, if the process is wrong, how the answer could be right? Supreme Court could have immediately rectified it. It could have asked even for the snap polls. It could have asked for anything. We fail to understand. We always give the example of SR Mumbai case. We always give example, the assembly is the authority and all that. But when we enter the Supreme Court, and then we waste the time, rather the time is consumed, and then we say after 1.5 years or 2 years, the justice has come. But in the meantime, what about the administration and the decisions taken by the government? We fail to answer anything on this issue, and that is what is pertinent. Even today, I am not expecting that there will be something concrete decision on this. It is because earlier the person who was speaking, the point is this there should be 2/3 people at a time, and my word, 2/3 legislatures or MPs of any party, if they split at a time, then it is called a split. What has happened in Shiv Sena case? I am not saying in NCP case. In NCP case, one can easily say they were 2/3 at a time. But as far as Shiv Sena is concerned, first 16, rather the 15 were removed from the party.
All right.
Then it came to 16. Then party chief was then party.
Jainji, I'm sorry to interject. We're getting breaking news. I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Breaking news here and about the Pran Pratishtha ceremony scheduled for 22nd of January. The Congress, with much respect, has declined to participate in the consecration ceremony of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. To both the gentlemen here, Jayant as well as Reni, I'm coming back to you in a second. Let me go to my colleague Brijesh Pandey. Brijesh Pandey, you know, do you think the most massive self goal ever, or you think no, walking the talk? I would assume massive self goal.
No, it is a self goal. I mean, I honestly don't see any merit of them declining the invitation to Pran Pratishtha and the ceremony of Pran Pratishtha. And you know, it's one thing to have your difference of opinion, but it's another thing to not go there. You know how the atmosphere is. You're fighting an election which is barely 2.5 months away, and in middle of this, one of the biggest religious happening which is going to take place on 22nd of January. It was being speculated for a while now whether Sonia Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge, who is the party president, will go to the Pran Pratishtha or not, and they kept on waiting. They're saying that they're deliberating on it, and today finally 5 minutes back the news has come, which has been broken by a colleague, is that they have respectfully declined to attend the Pran Pratishtha. I honestly, don't see any political merit or political gain which the Congress party is going to get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And meanwhile, even as Mallikarjun Kharge and Sonia were mulling over it, in Karnataka, where the Ram Mandir became a big issue, particularly in the south of India, there only yesterday both DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah were saying, we have not been invited. If we are invited, we will see. Almost saying we'll go, but let me be invited to the party kind of a thing. So, one would wait for, but what about the others? I mean, in the sense, in the Congress party, was it only Sonia Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge?
Well, I think, if you take the example of Karnataka, even the government has decided that they will light a diya on
temples.
the 30,000 temples and all. So, they are playing to the gallery, and it's very surprising. And, now I think the fact that Sonia Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge have denied, I don't see any Congress leader showing up the courage to defy them and going ahead and attending if there's an invitation to him. So I honestly don't think that the Congress leaders will go to attend the ceremony of Pran Pratishtha, and I think it will give BJP another handle to brand Congress party as an anti-Hindu party, and it's not going to help them politically.
All right, and let's now get back to how it's going to impact the India bloc as well. Let me ask Reni Ibrahim, I mean, who's here, of course, for the big story from Maharashtra, but journalists are journalists, and we can change colors, can't we now? Reni Ibrahim, tell me, how do you look at the Congress respectfully declining the invite to the Pran Pratishtha ceremony? Your comment on it.
In my humble opinion, as you remarked earlier with asking whether it was a self-goal, I wouldn't disagree much with that kind of an assessment. And let me give you a corollary to that from Maharashtra itself. Even the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray faction chief, Uddhav Thackeray did not receive an invitation. Now, his reaction to this the fact that he was not invited, though he is known as a Hindutva leader of India, was to immediately announce that he would be visiting the Kaluram Mandir in Maharashtra come 22nd of January. So rather, whereas the Congress has declined the invitation extended to them, Uddhav Thackeray is exploiting the fact that he has not been invited, and he is going to play up the Kaluram factor. And that, mind you, the Kaluram temple has got a lot of historical significance, because that is where the architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, had launched a huge Andolan way back in the early 1900s, 1920 or 29, if I'm not mistaken, when he demanded the rights for Dalits to be able to offer prayers at the Kaluram Mandir in Maharashtra. Likewise, before Babasaheb Ambedkar, another social crusader, Sane Guruji, also had similarly made a huge movement for Dalit votes there. So, exploiting the situation should have been the Congress strategy rather than avoiding it and,
Very well put. Absolutely. And let me go to my colleague Kiran Tare. Kiran, what they were saying about it. Oh, I think we've lost the connection to Kiran Tare. What a pity. Let me go to Jayant Menkar. Jayant, what do you think? My colleague Brijesh, of course, said that in a way, larger context, maybe a self-goal, political self-goal, of course. And, also what Reni said right now. What is your opinion on this? Because there were, let me tell you, even the last meeting that they had, the India bloc meeting, K.C. Venugopal was clear. He said, listen, we will talk about the Ram temple, but as of now, 2024 is staring us in the face. We are hurtling down. So, let's discuss that. But I think both are very, very crucially, synchronized also to a great extent. Do you think this is something, it's political harakiri on the part of the Congress party?
You see, I will tell you one thing. Actually, the Congress has continued its position what it was right from the beginning. And so they have said they have respectfully declined. I mean, that way, that the point will come. Now, what about demolition? And what was the Congress had said about the demolition? There is a gaga among the political circles of India that, okay, we are constructing the temple and all that. But at the same time, we had our Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who said, who didn't visit Somnath temple and even said no government person will attend. When President Rajendra Prasad went, he went as a person in private capacity. So he said that it's his famous sentence, the dams are going to be the temples. So Congress, I think, is continuing with the rich legacy of Pandit Nehru. On face, it would look that as if self-goal, harakiri, whatever. But I think in longer run, which longer run already Congress has lost 10 years and they have reached very at its below par. Nadir, we can say that is only 52. The party which once had 405, 415, whatever, they had reached. But this is the time they have to show that they will not compromise on their ideology. And that is what, by respectfully...
Yeah, right.
I mean, why respectfully declining, the word respectfully declining, that we don't want to hurt anybody's emotions. So we are declining, and it is because what is the tradition that has been started by Pandit Nehru, we are continuing. And if you allow me, I want to make a statement even about Uddhav Thackeray, if I have given...
I have to take a break now. Jainji, can I come back to you, please? I have to take a break, sir. And, what he spoke about Pandit Nehru and Rajendra Prasad, Brijesh, Desh badal gaya hai, although one would love to imagine that those were really some thoughts that we all grew up with, read about. But this has political implication is what my personal belief is. I'm going to come back to you, so don't go away. We're going to discuss the big story in Maharashtra, and of course the story which just broke. The Congress has very respectfully declined the invite for the consecration of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. Stay with us.
It was my 14th birthday.
On birthday, daughter waits
for missing father. He was carrying a cake for his daughter.
49-year-old Birmingham-based
Indian diplomat vanishes.